Hello, greetings. This is Gilles Mancillon. I thought I'd come and say hello today for entertainment purposes. I will pull out some cards for we already know basically what we need to know. For if we seek deep inside of ourselves, we will find out exactly. For the in essence, the whole path of ascension is about discovering this inner core, who we are at the essence. For at the center, it's everything is calm, everything is beautiful, everything is peaceful. We know all things. We know exactly who we are, exactly what we want. But that is a process, because when we came into this physical incarnation, we forgot, we left our memories behind, and so we need to reintegrate this memory of who we are. We do not need to know the whole universe. We need to know who we are as an eternal soul, as an extension of the source, and from there there will be a conscious process of living will be elevated into a new state of, everything comes from the unity cannot be compromised. The unity, the oneness of life is always has been. It is only within our mind that we have created the separation. For God can never be separated from itself, and so in essence God has always been there. The spirit has always been there. The whole truth, the past is there, the future is there, everything is there. It's just a matter of tuning in to that inner center, allow ourselves to be guided and to follow the path as much as possible. For the highest wisdom for us today is transformation. It's a deep transformation, very powerful transformation. For Uranus, the great planet Uranus, the farther sky, the awakener, is moving into the sign of Taurus. So it will be a great deal of change in terms of our priorities. How do we organize our life? There will be a lot of transformation in relation to the material world, but in essence we need to balance out the inner with the outer. For many people are very well integrated within the outer world. They have a very easy life and everything flows, but they have very little understanding of their inner self, and so all of humanity will be forced to turn towards the inner self at some point. And so it is important to be there to assist and to comfort those who are seeking to discover that inner self, that it is really there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So this deep transformation is happening. The wisdom lies in finding in letting go of the old in order to transform into something new. What we need to understand is the life purpose. What is our life purpose? Why did we come here? We came here on a mission. So there is a mission of evolution. This mission has to go through work, it has to go through joy, it has to go through relaxation, it has to go through fun, we go through all kinds of things. Sometimes we suffer, sometimes we struggle. For life is like a rose. It's a most beautiful flower. It smells so good, and someday we are able to smell the flowers, but someday we see only the thorns. We keep getting hurt in the process of discovery, but it is a process of transmutation. The more we are collaborative with spirit, with the soul and the spirit, the faster things are being able to be transformed. And what we need to do is to heal, to be the healer, to accept the healing, to invoke, to call on the presence of Chiron, the great planet Chiron, or the Centaur. For this planet is a very, very fast-moving planet that will allow us and it is now moving outside of Pisces into Aries. So we will be moving into all the healings that will happen during the Pisces season. We'll be able to bring it forward in the fire of Aries and bring all this knowledge and understanding into the collective picture. Right now the planet Neptune is in Pisces too, so it is at home there. For as a Pisces, I am very comfortable with Neptune. Neptune is a beautiful planet, inhabited planet, very advanced, but it is also here that can help us to integrate our dreams, to integrate our vision. It is a visionary planet, a spiritual planet, and it can also help us to disconnect with all kinds of psychological addictions. For all addictions are psychological. Some of them may be physical, but the physical is kind of secondary to the psychological. And what we need to do is birth, to be born, to be reborn. It's a renaissance. We're living in a very powerful time of renaissance. Of course, there is the old cycles that are continue to run its course. All the madness of our society. We live in a world that's once we become a bit lucid, we see all of the manipulation that are completely insane. That people believe those things because TV tell them to believe, or science, or even religion. But there is all kinds of for the truth cannot be compromised. The truth is the truth. But we live in a world that is not yet aligned with that truth, and so. But we are moving into this. There's a great deal of purification that will be coming and manifesting. It is very important to get a sense of what we want. For we all came here. We all have. And that's true for all beings, from even the animals. They all have a desire, something to look forward to move forward. But the animals don't have the reflection past, they don't have the judgment to reflect upon things. They're just purely in the moment of now. But as human beings, we all have desires that are unfulfilled. For if we did not have that, life would stop, and life does not want to stop. Life wants to keep going eternally, so there will always be new things to discover. What we want is to find a place, a position where we can find peace, joy, satisfaction within the now, so that we can move forward with that peace, that joy, that satisfaction. And so we all have desires that we wish to fulfill, and in many sense, we know that faith can move mountains. The Buddha said, if your faith is the size of a mustard seed, you will be able to move mountains. Faith is very, very powerful. So we have to trust that we can achieve that, or reality can be produced by us from a super conscious level. It doesn't have, not everything is conscious. For much of the realities of the soul will appear as vision, as sensation, but the rational mind will try to place it somewhere, and sometimes it just can't. It is not able to. So we have to trust that when you receive a vision, there is a meaning to that vision you're receiving. But if it's positive, it comes from the light. If it's not positive, it is an illusion that's been produced by the darker side to distract us from the light. But in many sense, when we we all have those desires, and we want to see those desires happening in our life. So in many sense, we have to learn. The fastest way to achieve that is by, of course, there is action that we can take in a rational way, but there is a sense that if you move into a feeling state and you already feel yourself being in the position or in the situation that you seek to attain, you will greatly accelerate the power of the universe to bring that experience to you. To us. So it is not easy to feel something, to feel that we are in a situation that is different than we are now, but it is still very, very important to start tuning in to that frequency, to whatever situation, to whatever vibration, to whatever and eventually to control our frequency, to be in charge of our frequency, our vibration, and eventually to hold frequency, to be able to stay within a frequency. For this is a slow process. We have to be patient with ourselves. We have to understand that we were just children of the universe. We're just growing every day, and so as we accept that, we are able to learn a lot more. For if we believe that we know it all, then there is no more space for anything to be learned. So, an understanding that mortal beings do not know nothing. In essence, that's what Socrates was recognized as the wisest man in Greece, because his wisdom comes from the fact that his only certainty is that he did not know. And so, in many sense, that's what the Oracle of Delphi said: know yourself, nothing more. For everything that is more, our true self, know yourself, and you will know God and the universe. For there is unity in all things. For that can never be compromised, that can never be changed. For it's only veils that we have created that separate us from this unity. And so. So it is important to start envisioning, to start trusting, to start believing in our dream, in our possibility to move into something that we want. The card today for us today is man, woman. So it is about the understanding is that if you're a man, be a man. If you're a woman, be a woman. There is no men and women were created equal but complementary. So a lot of problem with that is that woman wants to be in competition with men on a masculine level, and men, the society teaches that man has to be feminized in order to harmonize with the feminine, and this is nonsense. A man has his place, a woman has its place, and so the more as a man you want to develop your masculinity, as a woman you want to develop your femininity. That does not mean that the divine polarity will not, the more we are able to recognize ourselves. Well, of course, there are transsexual and homosexual. For those, this card often says that sometimes we had past life in a different gender. So sometimes people are a bit confused in terms of gender, because if imagine that if you had like 100 life as a woman and then you have one life as a man, you will still feel very much like a woman, or vice versa. So it's understanding that everything we have the nature of both man and woman within ourselves, but it is important to be true to who we are, to say ourselves be true. So but there is nothing wrong about being transgender or homosexual. For love is love and life is life. So there is no. It is a personal thing, and so what we need to do in order to resolve that is the Atlantis. Atlantis was a matriarchal society that was very, very advanced. There was 200,000 years of golden age in Atlantis. There was 3 catastrophes that made it completely sink into the ocean, and then the wisdom of Atlantis was carried forward through the Egyptian, that was translated through the Greek philosophers, then the Roman society, and then eventually but a lot of this esoterical hermetic knowledge has been lost, but it will be regained once we achieve a higher sense of responsibility in relationship to ourselves, to others, and to life. For there is very little right now there is a tendency to want to say too much also, because this great awakener, the great Uranus is moving into a new sign, and so so we do not want to move faster than the process. So it is important to not rush into things, to take your time to feel the situation, and when it feels right, then you move forward. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. The painting behind me is called Dantia. It's a painting. It looks like a snowflake. It's kind of interesting. I really like this painting. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's from 1997. It's a cosmology painting of a celestial realm. And in essence, at the center of our constellation, it's called Norliatadek. We live in a constellation and the central world of that celestial plane is called Edantia. It's a really big planet, and it's got all kinds of hundreds of satellites, planet satellites. They are like a school that we will eventually traverse to graduate. And each constellation, so this is a central celestial world, is connected to 100 systems of world, and each system of world is connected to 1,000 or hundreds of maximum 1,000 evolving planets. So each constellation is the administrative center. Edantia is the administrative center for 100,000 inhabited planet. Our own system of world went into rebellion 200,000 years ago. We became quarantined, isolated from the rest of the universe, and so now that we have to do whatever we can to come out of that box, to reconnect, to reopen the door of oneness. So the father of the constellation, the Most High, they're called the Most High, when the time of the rebellion, they had to create this quarantine, because if they did not create the quarantine, then the doors of paradise would have been closed for all the systems of the constellation. So they had to isolate all the system, and all the planets that went into this rebellion fall into darkness, fall into ignorance. And so this planet that we are is a very courageous planet. For she's suffered a lot because of all that, and so now it is we have to use our power to heal, to send good thoughts to the natural world, to send to men as well, before they become more aware and begin to respect the planet. Well, I hope this message was interesting. I thank you very much for supporting, sharing, commenting. If you wish to leave me a comment, and I will return shortly. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste. Thank you.